My name's Mark Summerfield, and I work as an independent author, programmer, and trainer. So I spend a lot of time writing and programming, and I also go on site to deliver training or help people with their programming. I got interested in Go soon after it was first announced publicly, which I think was 2009. Because for many years I've been looking for an alternative to C++, something that was cleaner, simpler, and better in many respects. And Go seemed to, at least from the specification, look like it might be the language I was interested in. And the more I looked at it, the more I started to use it, the more I got to like it. And I felt that it would be worth writing a book so that other people could get into it and try it out. The book is aimed at people who can already program. It's not suitable as a book for someone who's never programmed before. It's not a beginner's book. So I assume that people know the basics of programming and are used to a typical high-level language, Java, C++, C, something like that. Because Go does certain things in a very unique way, for example, a unique take on object orientation, I teach that from scratch. But the audience is just anyone from average and above programming skills who wants to try this new language and see if it would suit them and the projects they're interested in doing. Mine is complete in the sense it covers the entire language. It's designed to be used both as a tutorial and reference, so you can use it to learn from, and the way that it's structured and indexed and so forth, you can also use it for reference in terms of your everyday programming. One thing that I did that was different in this book than some of my other books is that every example, right from Hello World, is written in good Go style. And what I did there is when there are things that obviously early on in the book haven't been explained yet, there are forward references. So that you can peek ahead if you just want to see what a particular thing means if it's not explained there and then. So everything's either explained or forward referenced. And obviously, as you get through the book about halfway, by that point, you've got most of the language under your belt, and so the number of forward references drops off considerably, and then there's backward and forward references if you need to remind yourself of things, as well as obviously the index. The book also reflects three sort of aspects of Go which are unique. Go takes a unique approach to handling errors and dealing with exceptions. It has a completely unique approach to object orientation, and it also has a unique approach to concurrency. And the book covers all those topics as well as the whole language itself, and shows you how to do things in the Go way, which is not always obvious. If a lot of people have come through learning to program using object-oriented languages like Java and C++, which to purists, of course, neither of those are object-oriented, but in common usage they are, and yet Go is object-oriented, but doesn't work like that. It doesn't have any inheritance, for example. It does give you a mean of faking that kind of approach, but that's just not the Go way. You do things in a very different way, and the book does show you that. It also shows you how to fake it if you really want to. For example, if you're porting code, it might be easier. Know that you're going to get the whole language. And all of the examples in the book are based on live running code. I have a process where obviously I type in the text of the book, but for code snippets, instead of copying and pasting that code, what I do is I just put a command in my text, and I've got a processor that I wrote that basically, when it produces the PDF that goes to the publisher, it extracts the actual code from running code and puts that into the book. So the code that you see in the book runs, it works, the syntax is correct, everything. So there are no typos of that kind that that often afflict other computer books. And of course, you can download all the examples, and indeed you can download chapter 1, all free, to see if you like the book, if you like the examples, and if you like the approach. So you can easily try before you buy. The other thing about my book is it was peer reviewed, and I had 2 sets of reviewers. There are a couple of Go developers. These are people who work on Go itself. So I asked them to review to make sure that I'm teaching the right thing in the right way, because Go has its own unique approach. So I had experts reviewing, but in addition to that, I had several programmers who had never programmed in Go before and who are more like my target audience. So they had a range of programming backgrounds and skills, and they were learning Go from scratch from the book. So between the experts and the new people to Go, the book should be accessible to everyone who's got prior programming experience. The book is wholly practical. It doesn't dwell on theory. So, for example, there's a lot of theory behind Go's approach to concurrency, using concurrent sequential processes, but I don't cover the theory. I show you how to do it for real, with real code in practice. And the other thing about Go is it's a multi-paradigm language. You can do it. You can program procedurally. You can program object-oriented in object-oriented style. You can write single-threaded programs or multi-threaded. Although in Go you use something called Go routines rather than threads, which are very light. They're like lightweight threads where you can have hundreds or thousands of them, or tens of thousands, rather than the lesser number of threads that you would normally have. And all of those styles of programming I show in the book. And of course, you can mix the styles if you want to. You're not restrained. It's not one of those languages like Java, which has one paradigm, object orientation, and you're stuck with that. You can do things in any paradigm or combination that you like with Go.